Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered, who am I, really? Not the version you show at work, not the one your friends expect, but the real you raw, unfiltered, maybe even a little messy? If that question's ever crossed your mind, you're in the right place. Welcome to today's episode of The Emirations. I'm your host, and we're about to dive into something that might just flip the way you see yourself upside down. It's called individuation, a journey Carl Jung described as becoming the truest, most whole version of you. And here's the kicker. It's not about being perfect, it's about being real. Why does that matter? Because too many of us are stuck living lives that don't feel like ours. And this could be the way out. So, grab a coffee, settle in, and let's talk about what it means to step beyond the comfort zone. Let's start with something personal. When was the last time you felt like you were wearing a mask? Maybe it was at a family dinner where you smiled and nodded even though you disagreed. Or at work where you played the team player role while silently screaming inside. How did that feel? Draining, right? Like you're betraying yourself just to keep the peace? That's where a lot of us live trapped, behind what Jung called the persona, the face we show the world. It's not fake. Exactly, it's just not the full story. And the longer we wear it, the more disconnected we get from who we actually are. Now, picture this. What if you could peel that mask off? Not to impress anyone, not to prove a point, but just to feel alive again. That's what individuation is all about. It's this wild, messy process of pulling together all the pieces of yourself. The good, the bad, the hidden stuff you don't even want to admit exists, and making them whole. It's not a quick fix. It's a lifelong journey. But here's why it's worth it. When you stop hiding, when you stop pretending, you start living a life that actually feels like yours. So, let's get you thinking. When was the last time you did something that felt totally, unapologetically you, something no one told you to do, no one expected? Maybe it was dancing alone in your kitchen, or maybe it was saying no when everyone wanted a yes. What did that feel like? Hold on to that for a second, because that's a clue to what's waiting on the other side of this journey. And hey, if you're up for it, hit pause and scribble down that memento. Share it with me in the comments later. I'd love to know what makes you feel alive. The problem is, most of us don't even realize we're stuck. We're so used to playing the part, being the nice one, the successful one, the funny one, that we don't notice how much it's costing us. Society hands us these scripts from day one. Fit in, don't rock the boat, keep everyone happy. And for a while, it works. You get the approval, the applause, the likes. But then one day, you wake up and think, wait, whose life am I living? That's the trap of the persona. It's comfortable until it's suffocating. If any of this is hitting home, stick with me, we're just getting started. And if you're enjoying this dive into the psyche, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and maybe share this episode with someone who needs it. This podcast is all about unpacking the stuff that matters, and your support keeps it going. Plus, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment about a time you felt like you were wearing a mask that didn't fit. Let's get this conversation rolling. So, why do we get so tangled up in these masks? It starts early. As kids, we figure out what gets us love, attention, safety. For some, it's being quiet. For others, it's being loud. For me, it was being the creative one. I'd doodle in notebooks, write little stories, and everyone would say, "Oh, you're so imaginative." It felt great until it didn't. By high school, I was terrified to step outside that box. What if I tried something new and sucked at it? What if I wasn't creative anymore? So, I stuck to what I knew, even when it started feeling like a cage. Sound familiar? Jung said this happens because we build our identity around what works until it stops working. The persona's just the surface, but beneath it, there's a whole universe we ignore. He called one piece the shadow, the stuff we shove down, because it's messy, or scary, or doesn't fit the image. Like if you're always the calm one, your shadow might be anger. If you're the strong one, it might be vulnerability. And here's the twist. That shadow doesn't vanish, it festers. It leaks out in snappy comments, quiet resentment, or that gnawing feeling you can't name. Individuation flips the script. It's about facing that shadow, not to fight it, but to understand it. Imagine your life like a labyrinth, twisty, confusing, but leading somewhere real. At every turn, there's a piece of you waiting. The shadow, the dreams you buried, the parts you've never let breathe. The journey isn't about fixing yourself. It's about finding yourself. Let's break it down with some science. Studies in developmental psychology, like one from the University of California, show that integrating suppressed emotions and traits boosts well-being. It's not just Jung's philosophy. It's how our brains work. When we stop pretending, we stop exhausting ourselves. But it's not all theory. Let's get practical. Here's a step. Try some shadow work. Grab a notebook and write down something that bugs you about someone else. Maybe your coworker's always late, and it drives you nuts. Now, flip it. Is there a part of you that's afraid of not being perfect, of letting people down? That's your shadow talking. Don't judge it, just listen. It's like meeting a stranger who's been living in your basement rent-free. Another move, question the script. Ask yourself, is this me or what I think I should be? I did this a few years back with my job. I was climbing the ladder, checking boxes, but I hated it. One day, I sat down and thought, who am I doing this for? Turns out it wasn't might was the applause. So, I quit. Scariest thing I've ever done, but it cracked me open in the best way. Let's try something together. Think of a time you felt free, like really free. Maybe you were hiking alone or laughing so hard you forgot to care what anyone thought. What were you doing? Now, compare that to a time you felt stuck, playing a role. What's the difference? That gap? That's where individuation lives. Jung also loved dreams for this. They're like postcards from your unconscious. Next time you wake up from a weird one, jot it down. Recurring symbol? A chase? A flower? It's not random, it's your psyche whispering. I once dreamt I was lost in a forest, and it hit me. I was avoiding something big in real life. That's the stuff that guides you. Here's the hard truth. If you don't step into this journey, you risk staying stuck. You'll keep wearing that mask, and it'll get heavier. You might look fine, great job, nice house, but inside, it's hollow. You'll watch other people live messy, loud, real lives while you're stuck analyzing from the sidelines. Loneliness creeps in, not because you're alone, but because you're hiding from yourself. I've been there, smiling on the outside, crumbling on the inside. It's exhausting, and it doesn't end well. Research backs this up. A study from the Journal of Personality found that suppressing your true self spikes stress and tanks life satisfaction. You're not failing, you're just trapped. But flip that coin, and the payoff's incredible. When you embrace individuation, you start feeling whole. You stop chasing approval and start chasing what lights you up. Relationships get deeper because you're not performing, you're present. You'll mess up, sure, but it won't scare you anymore. It'll feel human. Science agrees. A Cambridge study showed that authentic living cuts anxiety and boosts happiness by aligning your actions with your core. It's like stepping out of a cramped room into wide open air. Take Frida Kahlo, turned pain into art, shadow into color. She didn't hide her scars, she painted them. That's individuation, not perfection, but truth. You don't have to be an artist, just brave enough to stop pretending. If this is clicking for you, don't let it stop here. Subscribe, leave a like, share this with someone who's ready to peel off their mask. And drop a comment, tell me one thing you're ready to face about yourself. I read every single one, and I'm here for it. Let's keep this going together. All right, let's tie it up. Today, we've unpacked individuation, Jung's roadmap to becoming whole. It's about ditching the mask, facing the shadow, and stepping beyond the comfort zone. It's messy, it's scary, but it's how you build a life that's yours, not someone else's. Here's your takeaway. Tonight, spend 5 minutes with yourself. Write down one thing you've been avoiding, maybe a fear, a dream, a truth. Don't fix it, just see it. That's where it starts. I promise, it's less terrifying than it sounds. If you love this, Check out our next episode on archetypes and other Jung gem that'll blow your mind. Thanks for hanging out with me today. You don't have to have it all figured out, just keep showing up, keep getting real. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.